Srimati Radhika is a great recipient of Vatsallya affection of Mother Yashoda. Sometimes Yashoda would invite Radha for an evening meal out of affection. At that time, she would say that, I have been called by the queen of Vraja. It is not proper to meet Krishna right now. It is inauspicious to disobey the orders of such great superiors. One should not fear any disruption of prema by such acts. For gopis with Samartharati, it is then all the natural acts aim at Krishna's happiness. It is a natural quality of the chaste women to follow the orders of their mothers and others without at the same time going against Krishna's words. In the long run, such acts give rise to happiness for Krishna who relish their good character. So now, Srimati Radhika, the ocean of Vatsalya affection of Mata Yashoda and other elders will be offered a Harikatha service at her lotus feet by Vatsalya Akka, who is going to speak on the topic Harikatha Shravanam, the highest goal of human life and the easiest means to attain him. Welcome Vatsalya Akka, the disciple of Sri Anandayanidhi. Thank you.
जय बोलो राधा रानी की जय, जय बोलो कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय. सर्वत्र गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम, गोविंदा गोविंदा. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. नामसंकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं, प्रणमो दुःखशमनः तं नमामि हरिं परं. सञ्चार्य रामाभिधभक्तमेघे स्वभक्तिसिद्धान्तचयामृतानि गौराब्धिरेतैः अमुना वितीर्णैः तज्ज्ञात्वा रत्नालयतां प्रयाति. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता, अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्. गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा. With the immense blessings of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, who is the ocean of mercy, we have all got this beautiful satsangam to listen to and to try to understand the essence of the conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Ramananda Raya, which is called as the Raya Ramananda Samvada. This is a beautiful conversation which is indeed a precious jewel which is inscribed in Chaitanya Charithamrtham. The conversation is intense. It is very deep. This conversation is not just an ordinary conversation because it is spoken by two knowledgeable people. So the essence is also very deep. But the ultimate essence of this conversation is to enlighten common people like us about the ultimate goal of human life and the easiest means of attaining Him. The conversation is indeed deep and intense, and it is not possible for everyone to teach or preach about this or to understand this properly. This can happen only with the grace of Gurunatha, and that's why it is aptly said, Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnana Timirandhasya. If we have cataract, then we will not be able to see things clearly. Our visibility comes down. The clarity with which we can see things is reduced. This cataract can be removed only by a special stick. And not all doctors can remove cataract. It can be removed only by a specialist. In the same way, we are all affected by ajnanam. This is the cataract. And this can be removed only by jnananjana shalakaya. Can be removed only by the stick which is called jnanam. And this light of knowledge can be lit in our heart only by a specialist who is none other than Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. None other than our Gurunatha. So for us to understand this deep meaning of the essence of this conversation, we have to prostrate at the lotus feet of Sadgurunatha. Because it is only by His grace we can even be a part of this conversation, we can even be a part of this satsangam. So let us prostrate at the lotus feet of Sadgurunatha and Lord Shri Krishna, who is the eternal Guru of this entire universe, Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Raya Ramananda Samvada. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has had many conversations with many of his bhaktas. It is either called as a shiksha or as a samvada. Shiksha means lessons, but samvada here means conversation. Why is it called samvada here? In all the other conversations, bhaktas ask many questions for which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives answers. But here, it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who asks questions and Ramananda Rai gives replies. That is why this is very special, because Gurunatha instills the devotion in the bhakta and he gets the best version out of that bhakta. That is why Shri Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami in his commentary has offered his Mangalacharanam this way. He says, Sancharya Ramabhida Bhakti Meghe Swabhakti Siddhanta Chayamritani Jnanabdhir Etair Amunavitirnaihi Tadnyatvaratnalayatam Prayati. He says, the water from the ocean is being evaporated by the heat of sun. This water is then condensed in the atmosphere. It is purified in the atmosphere and then it is stored in the cloud. This cloud in turn gives its water as rain back to the earth, back to the ocean. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram. The water from the cloud ultimately reaches the ocean. In the same way, here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered to be the boundless ocean of Bhakti Siddhanta, of devotion. He instilled the cloud, Ramananda Rai, to give the Bhakti Siddhantas back to him. He gave all the transcendental truth to Ramananda Rai. And he in turn spoke what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted him to speak. That is how it is said. The water is being evaporated from the ocean, it goes to the clouds and it comes back to the ocean. And when it combines with the Swati Nakshatra, the constellation, then the rainwater gets into the oyster and it becomes a pearl. In a similar fashion, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instilled the devotion in Ramananda Rai, and he started giving out his conclusions, and this entered the oyster, which was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ears, and then it became the pearl, Raya Ramananda Samvada. So this is a beautiful conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Ramananda Rai. Ramananda Rai was extremely devoted to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Though he did not belong to the upper caste, he possessed knowledge and devotion which many from the upper caste didn't possess at that point of time. He was the governor under King Prataparudra, who ruled the present day Andhra Pradesh. So he was the governor, he was ruling that place. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to meet Ramananda Rai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had decided to set out on a pilgrimage tour to the south of India. So when he started his trip, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested him to meet Ramananda Rai. What was so special about him? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says that even I didn't know about Ramananda Rai initially. But when I spoke with him, I understood that he was not a normal person. He was not an ordinary person. He was filled with devotion and bhakti. He is a very, very knowledgeable person. So I request you to meet him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, I will definitely meet him. So he set out on his pilgrimage tour. He visited the Kurma Kshetra and then Simhachala, which was the abode of Jiyada Narasimha. And then the next morning, he took bath in the river Godavari. And he sat on the banks of river after completing all his rituals in Vidyanagara and incessantly chanted the Mahamantra. At that point of time, a royal palanquin was being brought. And in that palanquin, Ramananda Rai was seated. He was accompanied by thousands and thousands of men. He was also accompanied by musical proceedings because it was customary for musical proceedings to be accompanied when the royal officer went out anywhere. So musical proceedings were also there. He came to the Godavari river, he took his bath, he finished all his rituals. That moment, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that this was Raya Ramananda. So he was waiting for Ramananda Rai to come to him and speak with him. Ramananda Rai, after finishing his rituals, turned back and saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there, and he was extremely astonished at his form. He was a sannyasi, but his radiance was equivalent to thousands and thousands of suns. So he was captivated by the look of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he came running towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Both of them introduced themselves and they both embraced each other. At that point of time, they felt a divine feeling. Some ecstatic emotion in them was erupted. They felt a love for each other which was flowing in them. How did this even happen? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna, while Ramananda Rai was Vishaka Sakhi in Krishna's Rasa Leela. So the love for each other was always there, and now it was manifested here. The love for each other flowed incessantly without any limits, and they couldn't control themselves. It was an ecstatic emotion. And then at that point of time, they realized that people around them could not understand this. So they decided that this is not the end. This is not the only time that they would meet. So they decided to meet again. And that evening, Ramananda Rai came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but this time not with thousands of men, but just with one person. So this time, they had an opportunity to converse in solitude. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started asking questions. he wanted to bring out the best version of Ramananda Rai. He wanted to keep asking questions so that Ramananda Rai got elevated. He posed questions so that Ramananda Rai could indulge himself in brainstorming activities. So he asked the first question. He asks, what is the sadhya? What is the ultimate goal of one's life? He says, Padashloka sadhyera nirnaya. What is the ultimate goal of one's life? Ramananda Rai starts answering these questions. What is sadhya? What is sadhana? Sadhya is the ultimate goal which one has to attain. Thirumanisai Alvar in Tirichandavrittam sings, Tannulle Thirai Thezhum Tarangaventadankadal Tannulle Thirai Thezhundu Adanguginra Tanmai Pol Tannulle Thirai Thezhum Tarangaventadankadal Tannulle Thirai Thezhundu Adanguginra Tanmai Pol Ninnulle Pirandirandu Nirpavum Tiribavum Ninnulle Adanguginra Nirmai Ninkal Nilrade Ninnulle Pirandirandu Nirpavum Tiribavum Ninnulle Adanguginra Nirmai Ninkal Nilrade தன்னுள்ளே திரை தெழும் தரங்கவன் தடங்கடல் தன்னுள்ளே திரை தெழுந்து அடங்குகின்ற தன்மை போல். Waves are originated from the ocean. No matter how far they travel, they again reach the ocean. They are pulled back by the ocean. In the same way, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the ultimate bija, the seed for this entire universe. We have all originated from him. We are all here as mere actors in the play. We eat, we sleep, we think, we drink. We do all sorts of activities only because of him and for him. So, Ninnulle Pirandirandu Nirpavum Tiribavum Ninnulle Adanguginra Nirmai Ninkan Nindrade. Like how the waves are being pulled back by the ocean, in the same way, we, Bhaktas, must reach Bhagavan Shri Krishna because he is the origination. He is the destination. This is a complete circle. The radius of this circle might differ from person to person, but ultimately, every single person must attain Bhagavan Shri Krishna. This is the ultimate goal of one's life. But how to attain him? There are different ways of attaining him, which Ramananda Rai enumerates in this conversation. He says, Swadharmacharane Vishnu Bhakti hoy. At the first level, he says, Swadharma Acharane. One must discharge his duties. Bhagavan himself says, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashah. He himself accepts the Chaturvarnya system, the Varna system. The entire society is classified on the basis of occupation and on the basis of spiritual advancement. A person might be a brahmachari, a grihastha-ashrami, vanaprastha-ashrami or a sannyasi. Or a person can be a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya or a shudra. So these are all mere classifications. And when a person discharges his obligation by being in this duty, he pleases Bhagavan Shri Krishna and ultimately attains him. So this is the first step, Swadharmacharane. If one follows his karmas and duties properly, then he attains Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, of course, you're right. He's not refusing, he's not telling that this is wrong. But he only says, Eho bahya ahe kahor. He says this is external. Tell me something else. How is this external? This is connected to the material activities that we do. A person might know how to drive. He knows all the rules of that place. Wherever you leave him, he'll be able to drive a car very well. It can be any city, any state, any country, any continent, he'll be able to drive the car very well. And he can drive for hours together. But ultimately, he might not reach any place because he doesn't know the destination. So in a similar fashion, one who follows the duties alone are just connected to the materialistic activities. They don't know their destination. They're just wandering here and there. So, eho bahya, ahe kahor. Go further, go deep. This is just an external way. This will not create any sort of an attachment or an association with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So, go ahead. So, now Ramananda Rai says, okay, if Swadharma Acharanam is external, then Krishne Karmarpana Sarvasadhyasar. Let us offer the results of our karma to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. The first step was to engage in one's occupational duties. Now he says, offer the result of your occupational duties to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. He has himself told, Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. He says, whatever you eat, whatever you think, whatever austerity you perform, whatever dana dharma that you do it for me. Tat kurushva mad arpanam. Give it to me. Offer it to me. So, Ramananda Rai quotes this and says, this is the best way to attain Bhagavan Shri Krishna. One must offer the result of one's karma to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, very good, but eho bahya, ahe kahor. He says even this is external because you are still associated with the materialistic activity. You are not associated with Bhagavan Shri Krishna ultimately. So go ahead, tell me something more. Now Ramananda Rai says, Swadharma Tyaga e Sadhyasara. Let us renounce our activities. Let us renounce our occupational duties. Let us go to a higher level. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So he himself says, Sarvadharman parityajya, leave away all your dharmas. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Come to me by realizing that I am the only refuge. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I will ensure that you are relieved from all bondages and attachments. I will ensure that you are cleansed of your sinful tendencies. Mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Don't worry, I am there. Says Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So quoting that, Ramananda Rai says, Swadharma charana tyaga. Let us leave our occupational duties. This is the point where he says that one must accept sannyasam. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, eho bahya. Even this is external. This is because if one accepts karmika sannyasam, then he will definitely be away from materialistic activities. But it doesn't mean that he is treading the path of spirituality. He might be away from materialistic attachments. He might be away from materialistic pleasures. But it doesn't ensure that he is anyway close to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So even this is external. Karmika sannyasis are asked to perform certain austerities. They are bound by certain rules and regulations and they concentrate only on those rules and regulations. So again they are not associated with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So that love for Krishna is not born here. Even in Bhagavatam it is said, one must have pure Shraddha and devotion. And this Shraddha, faith in Harikatha Shravanam and Namasankeerthanam must be there in a person. Only then he is qualified to leave away all his karmic activities. Only then he is qualified to leave away all his occupational duties. But if he does not have that devotion, if he does not have that faith, then at that juncture, if he leaves his occupational duties, then he is doing something which is very, very anartham. This is not possible. This will lead us to many more accidents. So please don't do that is what Bhagavatam tells us. So one must have the dridha vishwasam in him, in Namasankeerthanam and Harikatha Shravanam, to leave one's occupational duties. So that is also not possible here. If one leaves his occupational duties, he ultimately does something which is external. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Eho bahya ahe kahor. So now, Ramananda Rai says, Jnana Mishra Bhakti e Sarva Sadhya. He says, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Let a person involve himself in Jnanam, which is mixed with Bhakti. What is Jnanam? That point where we realize that Jivatma must get one, must get united with Paramatma. Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam is the Jnanam which is being spoken of here. So this Jnana Mishra Bhakti is being told by Ramananda Rai here. And he also quotes a shloka from Bhagavad Gita where he says, Brahma Bhutav Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. He becomes a Brahma Bhutaha Prasannatma. He becomes extremely happy. He is in transcendental bliss. The one who has attained the ultimate knowledge. Na shochati. He does not worry about anything. Na kankshati. He does not want anything. He does not desire for anything. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. He is equal. He sees everything equal. He sees Brahman in everything. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu mat bhaktim labhate param. When that is mixed with bhakti, he attains me ultimately. So this jnani tries to remove the materialistic things from this materialistic world. He tries to negate the materialistic objects. For him, the entire world is Brahman. That is why it is said, Sarvam Brahmamayam. Sarvam Brahmamayam. Re Re Sarvam Brahmamayam. Re Re Sarvam Brahmamayam. Re 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 Sarvam Brahmamayam. Kim vachadiyam, kim avachaniyam, kim rachaniyam, kim rachaniyam, sarvam brahmamayam. Re re re, sarvam brahmamayam. Sarvatra sada hamsa dhyanam kartavyam bo mukti nidanam sarvam brahmamayam. Re re sarvam brahmamayam, brahmamayam, brahmamayam. Sarvatra sada hamsa dhyanam. They see Brahman everywhere. They see Bhagavan everywhere. So they try to negate the materialistic object in this materialistic world. What should they talk about? What should they not talk about? What should they think about? What should they not think about? Everything is Brahman. Sarvam Brahmamayam. But when this Jnana Mishra Bhakti is there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this mixture is not equal. It is not balanced. Because in this mixture, Jnana might be on the higher side. Jnana Mishra Bhakti, this is like a heap of mustard seeds. When a piece of gold is added to that mustard seeds heap, it might be difficult for a person to identify the gold piece. How can that gold be identified? If one sets fire to that heap, then it is burned down to ashes and one can easily take out the golden piece. In the same way, in Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Bhakti becomes very small. It is a very, very significant portion. But we have to find Bhakti from that heap of Jnanam. So this heap can be burned out to ashes only by Sadgurunatha's Kripa and with the Sangam of Vaishnavas, who will initiate us into the path of Harikatha Shravanam and Namasankeerthanam. So only when that happens, this Jnanam will go away and we will be able to find out pure devotion in us. So, eho bahya. When jnana is mixed with bhakti, this becomes external again. So, ahe kaho. Now Ramananda Rai says, jnana shunya bhakti. All along he was telling jnana mishra bhakti. Now he says, jnana shunya bhakti. That bhakti which is devoid of knowledge, devoid of empiric speculation, is the highest form. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, eho. All along he was telling eho bahya, all these are external. Now he says, eho. This is the correct answer. Now keep moving forward. Don't just stop here. So Ramananda Rai says, okay, jnana shunya bhakti. But in that also, Prema Bhakti is the best way to attain Bhagavan Shri Krishna. In Jnana Shunya Bhakti, one is initiated into Harikatha Shravanam and Namasankeerthanam. One keeps listening to the holy names and one keeps chanting the Mahamantra. But this is just an ordinary devotional service. We must try to associate ourselves with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. When that love comes spontaneously, when we feel that ecstatic love in us, the ordinary devotional service becomes ecstatic and spontaneous devotional service. And only when one realizes this ecstatic and spontaneous devotional service, which is Prema Bhakti, one can somehow associate himself with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So this becomes internal. So this is the best path, says Ramananda Rai. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, eho, this is the best path. Of course, this is the best path. Please go ahead. Please tell me more. Now, the entire conversation is based on Prema Bhakti. There are different levels in Prema Bhakti. One must somehow associate with Bhagavan Shri Krishna. The initial stages are a bit difficult because we think that Bhagavan is superior to us. So we might not be able to shed all our inhibitions and go to him easily. So initially, we consider ourselves to be dasas, servants of the eternal Lord. We are all dasas and he is our ultimate Lord. This is Dasya Bhakti. Anjaneya was one of the best dasas, servants of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, of Bhagavan Shri Rama, Lord Hari. Bhagavan comes running to save all his bhaktas. Anjaneya was a prominent bhakta, and when someone has to praise him, it is always said, Hanumana matave, Hariya matavu, Hanumana matave, Hariya matavu, Hariya matave, Hanumana matavu, Hanumana matave, Hariya matavu, Hariya matave, Hanumana matavu, Hanumana matave, Hariya matavu. Whatever Anjaneya thinks is what Rama also thinks. Whatever Rama thinks was only thought by Anjaneya also. They were both one and the same. They were not two separate entities, they were the same entity. But Anjaneya considered himself to be the dasa of Prabhu Shri Ramachandra. So in this bhava, in this rasa, one finds himself inferior and he considers the Lord to be superior to him. He constantly engages in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, go one step forward. Of course, Dasya Bhakti is the means of attaining Bhagavan. But go one step forward. Now Ramananda Rai says, Sakhya Bhakti. Sakhya Bhakti is the best means of attaining Bhagavan Shri Krishna. How is this possible? As one progresses, his inhibition is shed away. So all along, he considered himself to be inferior. As he moves forward, he considers himself to be equal to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Arjuna was a very, very close friend of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. All the Gopas of Vrindavana were very close to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. In fact, Arjuna says, Sakheti matva prasabham yaduktam, He Krishna, He Yadava, He Sakheti, Ajanata mahimanam tavedam, Maya pramadat pranayena vapi. I didn't know about you, Ajanata. I was unaware of your real form. So I kept calling you, Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakha. And you listened to all those things and you still accepted me as your friend and you were my charioteer all along. After having this divine darshan, the Vishwarupa darshan, I am not able to explain you how bad I am feeling. Because I've been talking to you like a normal friend. I've been calling you with so many names, but I failed to realize that you were the Paramatma. So Bhagavan accepts all the bhavam which has been expressed by the bhaktas. So he comes running to his bhaktas also. Even if the bhaktas consider him to be equal to him, he is not affected by it. He comes running to his Sakhya bhaktas also. That is why Pandavara manedolage kuduregale ta toledu Pundarikakshana hulla tinisida Pandavara manedolage kuduregale ta toledu Pundarikakshana hulla ತಿನಿಸಿದ ಅಂಡಜಾಧಿಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಅಂಡಜಾಧಿಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ತೊಂಡರಿಗೆ ತೊಂಡರಾಗಿ ಸಂಚರಿಸುತ್ತಿಹನು ತೊಂಡರಿಗೆ ತೊಂಡರಾಗಿ ಸಂಚರಿಸುತ್ತಿಹನು ಹೂವ ತರುವರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹುಲ್ಲ ತರುವ ಅವಲ ಕುಮಿ ರಮಣ ಇವಗಿಲ್ಲ ಗರ್ವ ಪಾಂಡವರ ಮನದೊಳಗೆ ಕುದುರೆಗಳೇ ತಾತೊಳೆದು. Krishna should have told that I am the Paramatma, I am Bhagavan, and he shouldn't have helped Pandavas. But he is found washing the horses in Pandava's house. He is found feeding the horses and cows in Pandava's house. Because he ultimately becomes Tondarige Tondaragi. He becomes a servant to his servants. Because yat bhavam tad bhavati. He only looks into the bhavam which the bhakta has. So he is least bothered. Even if it's Sakhya bhavam, he accepts that bhakta. Even if it's Dasya bhavam, he accepts that bhakta. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, go forward. There's something more than Sakhya bhavam. Tell me about that. Now Ramananda Rai says, Vatsallya Bhakti. In this level of bhakti, the bhakta goes one step ahead. All along, in Dasya Bhakti, he considered himself to be inferior to Bhagavan. In Sakhya Bhakti, he considered himself to be equal to Bhagavan. And in Vatsalya Bhakti, he goes one step forward. He considers himself to be superior to Bhagavan. This bhavam was experienced by Yashoda Mata and Nanda Gopala. When Nanda Maharaj was asked, who is this boy? He's lifting a mountain. He's not an ordinary boy. Who is he? Nanda Maharaj says, he's my son. When he was born, a rishi had come and told that he would possess extraordinary powers. Of course, he is blessed. So that's why he's doing all these things. Otherwise, he is my son only. What is the doubt? Why are you all doubting? This is what Nanda Maharaj told. Yashoda Mata scolded Bhagavan Shri Krishna. She even tied him to the uluka. That's why we got Damodara Leela also. She always wanted Krishna to be protected. She always wanted Krishna to be safe. She thought that she was protecting Krishna, but Krishna was the ultimate protector of this entire universe. So what bhagyam? Aho bhagyam. That's why when we talk about Yashoda Mata, we say ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಣ ಅಡಿಸಿದಳ ಶೋಧ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಣ ಅಡಿಸಿದಳ ಶೋಧ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಣ ಅಡಿಸಿದಳ ಶೋಧ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಣ ಅಡಿಸಿದಳ ಶೋಧ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಣ. ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಣ ಅಡಿಸಿದಲೇ ಯಶೋಧ. She was able to tie Krishna to that uluka. Nobody could tie him. Only with bhakti we will be able to catch him. We can bring him under our control. Yashoda did it with ease. So that bhavam, that Vatsallya bhavam is definitely better than the Dasya bhavam and Sakhya bhavam mentioned earlier. So as we go up, Sakhya bhavam had qualities which Dasya bhavam had, but it had one extra element. Now Vatsallya bhavam had all qualities of Dasya bhavam and Sakhya bhavam, but it had an extra element. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still not happy. He says, go ahead, tell me some more. Tell me something which is better than this. Now Ramananda Rai says, Madhurya bhavam, Kanta bhavam is the ultimate goal which one has to attain. Now he says, yes, this is the best way. Now elaborate this. How is Kanta bhavam better? Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the Vaikunthadipati. He is the Lakshmi Pati. In Dwaraka, he is the Rukmini Ramana. In Vrindavana, he is Radha Ramana. Tattvam is the same, but the rasa varies. Everyone has awe and devotion when it comes to Vaikunthadipati and Lakshmi Pati. But that awe and devotion comes down, it mellows down, and it becomes sweeter when it comes to Rukmini Kanta, Rukmini Ramana. And that feeling, that bhakti in a bhakta mellows down even more, and it becomes sweeter when it comes to Radha Ramana. Nobody had the opportunity of being a part of Rasa Leela. Even Lakshmi Devi didn't have that opportunity. Indeed, the Kanta bhavam expressed by the gopis is unparalleled. It cannot be matched by anyone, and it is definitely better than the previous bhavams. They always thought about Shri Krishna. They always wanted to be in association with Shri Krishna. They couldn't live if Krishna was not there. So Kanta bhavam is the best bhavam. This is the rasa which everyone must experience. Of course, all bhavams are the best bhavams. A bhakta can find himself in any bhavam. He can associate himself with Bhagavan in any of the bhavams. But ultimately he should move towards the Kanta bhavam. If he relishes the previous bhavams, the Dasya bhavam, Sakhya bhavam or Vatsallya bhavam, he can continue doing that. But ultimately, the bhavam which is very, very sweet and which is unparalleled and unmatched is the Kanta bhavam. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not stop there. He says, tell me something more. Now Ramananda Rai says, the bhavam which Radha Rani had is the ultimate goal of one's life. Because Radha Rani couldn't stay away from Krishna. She always kept singing about Krishna. Even when all the gopis were there, if Radha Rani was not there, then Krishna didn't like the Rasa Leela. He was not satisfied completely. But if Radha Rani was alone there and the other gopis were not there also, Krishna found it to be very nice, very sweet. He was extremely satisfied with that Rasa Bhava. So ultimately, the Bhavam, the Rasam, which Radha Rani expressed, which Radha Rani had, is the ultimate goal of one's life. says Ramananda Rai. Now after hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Ramananda Rai, telling that this is the ultimate goal of one's life. Nobody can reach the state of Radharani. Both Krishna and Radha cannot be separated. They were always one and the same. Radharani was in Viraha Bhavam when she couldn't see Krishna. She kept singing Krishna Nama always. In Jayadeva's Ashtapadi it is said, Nindati Chandana Mindu Kirana Mano Vindati Ketamadiram Krishna Nindati Chandana Bindu Kirana Mano Vindati Ketamadiram Savirahe Tavalina Krishna Savirahe Tavalina Savirahe Tavalina Krishna Savirahe Tavalina Savirahe Tavalina. Savirahe Tavalina. She's not able to drink anything, she's not able to eat anything, she's not able to sleep, she's not able to live at all, she's not able to breathe at all. That is the state which Radharani was experiencing. And Krishna, on the other hand, Vahati Malaya Samire Madanam Upanitaya Sputati Kusumani Kare Virahi Hridaya Dalanaya Tava Virahe Radhe Sitati Saki Radhe Vanamali Sitati Vanamali Sitati. Even Vanamali couldn't tolerate the separation, the Viraha Bhavam. So both of them wanted to be united. They couldn't tolerate the separation. So that is the bhavam which ultimately every single person must attain. And this is the ultimate goal of one's life. And this is the ultimate conclusion of the divine conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. The ultimate goal of one's life is to attain Radharani's bhava. And the means of attaining it is undoubtfully Hari Katha Shravanam and Namasankeerthanam. Only if a person constantly listens to Krishna's pastimes and only if he keeps chanting his namas, one can elevate in the path. One can elevate in the Prema Margam. One can elevate in the spiritual path. So Hari Katha Shravanam is the only means of attaining Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And on this auspicious occasion of Radhashtami, let us offer our obeisances and namaskarams to Radharani, Shri Krishna, and pray and plead for them to bless us with Harikatha Shravanam and Namasankeerthanam always. Let us keep chanting his namas always and let us ultimately attain the bhavam which Radharani experienced. Krishna bhajo Murali Govinda bhajo Krishna bhajo Murali Govinda bhajo Radhe Govinda bhajo Radhe Gopal bhajo Radhe Govinda bhajo Radhe Gopal bhajo Krishna bhajo Murali Govinda bhajo Krishna bhajo Murali Govinda bhajo. जय बोलो राधा रानी की जय, जय बोलो कृष्ण परमात्मा की जय, सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय, वीर धीर शूर पराक्रम आंजनेय स्वामी की जय.
Thank you, Vatsallya, for your splendid and divine Harikatha offering.